Hi, this is Kaitlin. I'm a zine maker from Hong Kong, and the zine I'm going to be showcasing with y'all today is Xìngbié. It's a zine that I made at the start of 2019, and at the time I was reading a lot about Taiwanese queer politics, specifically a book by Hans Taoming Huang. He's written a whole history on queer politics and sexual modernity in Taiwan. And that was the book through which I was introduced to the term Xìngbié, which kind of loosely translates to like gender. It directly translates to like sex/difference. It's like really hard to articulate what it means, but my interpretation of Xìngbié is such that it articulates a kind of expansive play and field of gender, and that gender can be something that's playful and sexuality can be something that's expansive, and I really love that word. So when I was kind of ruminating on that term, I was thinking about the kind of story I wanted to tell with this zine, and I realized something that I just wanted to see, or something I just wanted to insert and put into the world, was like a really simple kind of meet cute. And it basically starts off with a kind of microaggression moment, because I kind of just thought that, well, most of my work is about the everyday. So the story opens with this subway and with this yum cha, and yum cha is like family lunch in Hong Kong. So there's this like really intense kind of moment where you've got the characters at the lunch table and they're being asked like, how long have you been friends? And they're kind of not just friends, and they're kind of figuring out what they are themselves. So it's a kind of awkward moment. And then on the train home, they're kind of gazing into each other's eyes about just feeling really exhausted, feeling like it's exhausting to have to like articulate yourself in that way. And then you have this wordless spread on the next page where, this is probably just me articulating my own fantasies, but I had this idea of this meet cute that's like just like passing by, like, you know, the famous kind of like outdoor restaurants you have in like Hong Kong and Taiwan, and there's just this kind of, you know, bicycle meet cute where one of the characters like stops on their bike and like turns back, and then the other character's like, hey, just giving them like a little blushy smile. And then they have like a second encounter, of course, because this is my story, so I'm gonna make them have a second encounter. And they're at a bookstore, and of course the kind of tap on the shoulder has to do with the fact that the character with the glasses, or the character with the glasses and the long hair, wants to get to know the other character better, and they tap on their shoulder when they're reading Les's. So it's kind of like, that's a really popular lesbian magazine from Taiwan, and I just wanted to like give a nod to that culture and sort of have a nice little dialogue moment where the character with the septum piercing says, this looks cool, want to go? To the other character, and the character's like, yeah. So it's a little flirty mome. And then the next spread in the book is just like returning to that place of like the everyday and like sort of microaggressions, death by a thousand cuts. So you have the character with the septum piercing who presents a little bit more masculine of center being made fun of at work because there are people who present a little bit more traditionally feminine in the background laughing at them, saying man or woman, ha ha ha, which is something that actually has happened to me a lot. So I just wanted to make space for that kind of moment in the story. And then you have this like sort of scene about going home from work. So the character with the septum piercing goes home and they've got their groceries on their arm, and then their companion's like, hey, and they just have this nice little hug, because I feel like that's what we all need at the end of the day, is just to be embraced. And the last spread in the book is basically them two in bed, you know, doing things that people do in bed, which is like reading, holding the phone, and just scrolling. And then the character with the long hair says they just feel really bad. So the dialogue is, are you okay? From the septum piercing character, and then the other character says, I feel like a fucking loser. And then they get reassured, hey, I promise it won't always hurt this much. And that's been something that my friends have repeatedly told me when I'm in my darkest, worst place.